Hi, it's Therese from Lostinpaper, and today I'm going to show you how to add some easy design details using pens. I've got this So Matcha set, it's from Ellen Hutson, and before we start with the pen details I'm going to stamp out a background and get some images sorted out, and I'm going to be using the two little tiny flowers out of the set. I've got some nice bright reds and hot pinks. These are some Catherine Pooler inks, and just stamping them all over a panel of white cardstock. It's cut to the same size as my card front. I like to work on a separate piece of white cardstock, that way if I make any mistakes I haven't wasted a whole half a piece of A4 cardstock. I know it doesn't sound like much, but paper is precious to us. Anyway, I'm trying to focus my images mostly at the top of the page, cardstock panel I should say, and sort of have it look like these flowers are floating down the panel, so less images towards the bottom. I'm rotating the stamp as I'm stamping it out and mixing up the colours as well. I really like stamping my own backgrounds, and I think it's a really great way to get more from your small stamps especially. Now, I didn't have a really light pink, so what I've done here is use the rose petals but second generation stamping, and that worked out perfectly for a baby pink. And that's a great thing with these Catherine Pooler inks, they've got such great coverage. Your second generation stamping really gives you a second colour. So if you don't have many stamps, if you don't have many inks, take a look at the colours that you do have and see what they look like if you stamp them twice. Alright, I've stamped 3 of the images from the So Matcha set, and just using some tuxedo black. Doing some really simple Copic colouring here today. I am going to speed this up because this is not the main portion of the technique, but I did leave it in just in case you were interested. So I really like the pinks and the reds obviously for the Japanese kind of theme image. It seems to be the go-to, and when I actually held this little image up against my panel, to me it just didn't seem like the right kind of pink. It was too pinky pink. Oh, and I've made my cat, it's tortoiseshell. So what I decided to do was actually come in with a second shade of pink. This is the R81, and just by adding that other layer of pink over the pink that I'd already coloured, it just changed that whole tone of pink. So if you're ever not sort of happy with the colour or the tone that you've used, have another look at what other colours you've got in your stash. You can always change it with pencils over top too if you don't have the colour that you want. Just be aware that if you do use pencils, you can't come back with Copics afterwards. Alright, isn't she a little cutie? And I really like that sort of corally colour with it as well. Alright, so the details. Here's my first pen that I'm going to be using. It's the Copic, it's a 0.3, it's a multi-liner. And this is really simple. I decided to add, they're almost like little stars or flowers. Anyone can do this. So I'm just doing a little star shape, so it's 4 little tiny lines creating a star or a flower shape. I am making sure though to have some of these look like they are on the edge of her dress design and sort of scattering them around. Try not to get too caught up in it. If you think about it too much, it makes it difficult. Just go for it. You can always start again. She's only small. You can always colour her again. Or do 2. You could do stripes, you could do zigzags, you could do big flowers. The possibilities are really endless. I think she's cute though. The cat doesn't miss out. The cat gets the treatment as well because it's tortoiseshell, needs some black. The other pen that I'm going to add some details with today is my gold Uniball gel pen, and starting with the little collar emblem, what do you call it, pendant hanging on the cat's neck. Alright, this is a great die set from Ellen Hutson. It's called Block Words, and you pretty much get nearly every alphabet letter in this. If not, you can wangle some to make the rest of the alphabet. Thank you, artist, for that trick. Anyway, so I wanted to make my own sentiment, which says you are the best. So the word you and the word best are both in the set. That was easy. Then I just had to look for a couple of words that would make up you are and the. And it only actually meant that I had to cut 2 other words out. But you can cut as many as you like. So I've cut it out of fun foam and some black cardstock, done my usual trick of adding some matte medium, and then I'm using my Marvy jewel picker again. Mine's really old and I'd given up on it because it had lost its stick and I couldn't re-stick it. But I saw somewhere, a hint somewhere the other day where you can sort of add, I think it was a little glue dot or roll it on the back of some glue, and I think I just pushed it up against the mini glue dot and now it's kind of working again. So there you go. Hopefully if you've got a Marvy jewel picker that's lost its stick, I hope you haven't thrown it out because you can save it. Alright, so I'm adding these words directly on the front of my card, just using my matte medium again. I've already adhered the panel that I'd stamped the flower images onto the front of a top fold card, and I'll just use my ATG adhesive to do that. Now when I kind of lay out a sentiment like this and I've got to get it straight, I like the matte medium because it gives me a little bit of time to shift the letters around, but you can't leave it too long because they stick well. And the good thing about the matte is it doesn't dry shiny, so if I squidge it out the edges it doesn't look shiny. Right, so I've attached the die. I actually fussy cut all my images because I don't have the coordinating dies, and I wish I did. I might have to get them. And then I've adhered the umbrella just behind her arm, and I've added some foam squares behind all of the umbrella, the girl and the cat, and just popping them up on the front of the card. And for one last pen detail, I've got my gold gel pen again, and this time I'm going to add it to the center of some of the flowers, not all of them, and also around the flowers, and kind of create like a speckly effect, more concentrated at the top of the panel and then sort of flowing out towards the bottom of the panel. I didn't do this before I adhered the panel on because, I don't know, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with gel pens. I really love the way they look, but I hate the way that if you accidentally touch them before they dry, and I'm notorious for not waiting long enough, they can smudge. So if I found that I thought that if I did it after I have my card all pieced together, I'm less likely to muck it up. My final little tip is I did some flowers on her hair. Thought about doing it on both sides, but then I thought, nah, one side. That's my finished card for today. Thanks so much for joining me. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.